Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching that earwax removal compilation video today. 4 patients in this compilation video. Now you can see in this first patient's ear canal, we've got this kind of very soft wax here. We've opted to go down for the slightly thinner fine end here, just because it looks very, very soft and skin-like. You can see we're pulling this piece of skin out there. It's just quite a chunky old piece. Let's start working our way a little bit further down. You can see that skin all peeling away from the sides of the canal walls here. Very, very soft wax in the center there as well. So I'm just lifting these tinier pieces off, trying to get a grip to the slightly harder section that's further in. We're just getting rid of these looser, softer pieces to start with. Patient was feeling really, really blocked up, and you can see why. If you look around the edge of the wax there, that wax is actually stuck to the canal wall all the way around, so it's actually making it very, very blocked up in this particular patient's ear canal. Let's get rid of that chunk there. Just going to work on the next section now, so just pull that bit forwards. Luckily, everything's pulling forwards with this at the moment. A little bit of skin here at the bottom. You can see that skin, or the skin that basically just got sucked into the machine there. You could see that with skin because it's got this little bit of striation. Like this next section you can see here is a little bit thinner, a little bit more kind of stretchy, if you like. And then you've got this sort of concertina, this rippled effect running down the one side of it. It usually tends to be that sort of like golden, almost honey color as well there. It's just tidying up this last little bit in here as well. Obviously you can see I'm not on the screen today, guys. I'm trying to just quickly do this voiceover in between my patients today. You will see myself and the lovely Mr. Taylor Green. I know we've got some time a bit later on to record some videos for next week, so you'll see me and Taylor for next week. Don't forget, we've got episode 800 coming up on Friday next week. Some inspiration, guys, would be lovely. Anything you can think of that you'd like to see for episode 800, because we didn't really celebrate 700 because I think it fell smack in the middle of Waxvent. So anything you can think of, guys, that would be absolutely fantastic. Drop them into the comments section below. I'm a little read, because me and Taylor and Mrs. B and the rest of the team here, I'm a little think about what we can do for episode 800. Anyway, sorry, I've talked almost completely over this second ear canal, but you can see now we've got this big chunk of wax there coming away. Just tidying up here, using the fine end just to take these little loose bits around the outside edge. You don't necessarily need to remove these. Sometimes I just like to tidy them up if it's very wet and squishy. But eardrum looking absolutely fantastic there. This is what it looks like beforehand. This is what it looks like afterwards. So this is what we removed from both ear canals. We've got 3 centimeters, 1¼ inches of earwax there from both ear canals. So stay tuned for the second patient coming up now, just in a few seconds, and we'll crack on with this compilation. Well, it was a long one. There we go. So you can see this second patient now, very, very different color earwax. Looks much, much darker. Skin looks a little bit pinker as well. It's slightly narrow ear canal, not always the easiest ones to remove from here. I'm having to actually push the entrance to the canal across a little bit just to open this canal up. There you can really see all of these bits of wax here. It's quite soft here at the entrance, so a lot of this is getting sucked into the machine. Now we're going to break through this softer material, hopefully, and get to a slightly harder section that's going to be sitting behind this, I'd imagine. So just lifting from the side here. Don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, you can always like, share, follow, subscribe, and heart for me. And if you are suffering with any ear problems yourselves, wax or hearing, any other issues whatsoever, check out the link to our bio to our website. You can come along, book yourself an appointment with myself and the lovely Mr. Taylor Green. I have noticed a few of you have been doing this recently. I've actually got a couple coming over from the US who are coming to see us soon. And I think I've got a lady who's booked in from, I think it was Berkshire yesterday. So we've got people coming from far and wide coming to see us at the moment, but by all means book yourself an appointment. Check out the link in the bio or our channel page, and you'll be able to get that link there. Right, so take a look now. You can see this softer material now. See, it's starting to change consistency a little bit. It's looking just that little bit tougher now. We've got this layer of skin that's wrapped around the outside edge, so similar to the first patient you saw in this compilation. We're just going to remove this now. It's not unusual sometimes to get these skin layers underneath, and it's more common if somebody uses a lot of drops to try and soften the wax up, because what will happen sometimes is some of these drops will really, really moisturize the skin in the ear canal, and you will get these sort of detachments of the surface, the very top epithelial layer of skin coming away sometimes, and it wraps around the plug of wax, which is exactly what's happened here. Now, the reason you can see those little stereocilia, those little tiny hairs at the entrance to the ear canal, is because I'm having to drop the endoscope right back here to hold the canal open so we can accommodate the tube there. There we go. Look at that big chunk coming away there. That's mostly skin. You can see that layer at the bottom there is a skin layer. So just going to go behind this now. Let's get down to this next section. There we go, just lifting this from the bottom. You can see how everything now is starting to loosen a little bit. The consistency of the wax is a little bit more solid, but the actual plug itself is starting to break down now. A little bit more skin, there you go. You can see that coming away from the right hand side. It's this real kind of conker brown color, this sort of deep, it's almost like a reddy brown, I would actually say, looking at that. And it's funny, when you get to see certain consistencies over a period of time, you get to notice that they are all slightly different. So you'll get to notice sometimes by the color of the wax and maybe the surface texture, you'll be able to look in there and know that you're going to have to deal with a sticky wax or a hard wax or more skin sort of filled wax. This one is more on the sort of stickier end of the spectrum, this one. There we are, just taking that chunk away. There we go. Let's take a look beyond that. You can see there's more in there. You can really see that layer of skin to the left hand side, just diagonally up to the left from the suction tube there. That's what I mean about that layer sort of detaching from underneath. You can really see how that peels away from the side of the ear canal there. So just loosening this chunk, working it down the canal. Now, because the entrance is quite narrow, excuse me, what happens here, at some point we've got to drop the endoscope back. Now, when we drop the endoscope back, the ear canal wall is naturally, or the ear canal entrance, I'm sorry, is going to move naturally back into place, which means it's going to kind of close around the suction tube. So if you've got a big chunk of wax trying to get out this narrow ear canal, as you can see here, the ear canal then sort of almost clamps onto it as it tries to come out, which doesn't make it easy, because it's once you get into that stage where it's all kind of wedged in the entrance to the canal, it's very difficult then to hold the canal open and accommodate the tools in there. But this is what it looked like beforehand. This is what it looks like afterwards. A very shiny eardrum there. Very similar on this side. Look at the big dent in the middle. I think this is a little bit of sneaky cotton bud use being going on here, guys. But very different consistency. Now, the patient hasn't oiled this one quite as much. You can see it's that sort of harder, slightly more sort of substantial piece of wax there as soon as we go into the ear canal, which is kind of what we were hitting about halfway through on the first canal there. So I'm just getting rid of some of these looser bits at the entrance. Let's see if we can lift this plug from the bottom. Nah, it doesn't want to budge from the bottom, so let's see if we can move it from the top. There we go. It's starting to break down just a little bit there. Just peeling away, looking, probing. I always do that around the edge of the wax, looking for any looser pieces we can sort of exploit to get this out. I've popped some olive oil in here now just to help things along. It is quite sticky, and when we put the olive oil in, we use a spray olive oil because we find that the easiest thing to use. I know a lot of the other audiologists on YouTube, and a lot of the microsuction audiologists actually around the UK will tend to use spray olive oil. It's just so much easier to administer. For most of us, our patients are sat upright, and that for some patients are led down, but for us using an endoscope, the patient has to be sat upright just to accommodate us be able to use the endoscope on the side of the ear canal. If they were led down, that endoscope would constantly be, or the sort of screen that we use for the endoscope would constantly be hitting the couch. So I always like my patients to be sat up. It makes them feel less giddy to start with. It's much easier to work on, and it allows us to accommodate the endoscope in there. I forgot where I was going with this. There was a reason I told this to start. Yeah, that's right. Because if we were using a dropper bottle to put the olive oil in, if your patient was led down, then you wouldn't be able to get the olive oil in. So using the spray just means we can really get that down to where it needs to go. Now we've got a big chunk of wax, and I think there's a little ribbon of skin embedded in the middle of that. Yeah, you can just see the tail end there coming through. So we are winning this battle. We are taking this out. It's coming in installments, but it is coming out. Now the only thing we don't want to see here is what we can see there. What's the a dim sum, right? If you look at the bottom of that wax plug, you can see how the skin kind of folds up in front of it. It always reminds me of there's I think it's dim sum. I don't eat it very often, but you've got that kind of almost like those sort of packages of parcels of which look like they've got this kind of always these kind of creases around the bottom, and that's what it sort of looks like. It always reminds me of that when I go in here. If you start to see a lot of that happening, then it's not so easy, because what's happening is basically the skin is lifting from the canal and sitting up in front of the plug that you're trying to remove. Now, it's okay if it just happens just for a little bit, but the higher that goes up, the less chance we've got of being able to get the suction tube onto the wax beyond without holding onto that skin in front. And when it holds onto the skin in front, it doesn't pull forwards very well. So it's coming away really, really well here. Let's just take this plug out. It just broke away. I can see the tail end of a little bit of a plug there. There we go. So ear canal looking a lot clearer. That looks much better than there. Eardrum looking much, much better. Patient hearing a lot better as well. So we've got, I'm going to say that's 4 centimeters, because I think if I budge those two little gaps up, sometimes the wax is so sticky you can't actually put it together on the machine, on the paper. It doesn't want to stick together. And inches wise, I'm going to go probably with just under 1 3/4 inches on that one. So patient 3 in the compilation, don't forget there are 4, so there is another one after this one as well. But you can see a very, very deep-seated wax. Not so much of a hearing issue for this particular patient, because there was a little bit of a gap further in, but solid piece of wax. You can see how this has been formed further down. We've got this kind of sloping off to the right-hand side, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And the skin is getting involved as well now, just to make things even more awkward. I've got a grip on the top section. We're just going to turn this around. There we go. So we're turned. Oh, is this a perfect job for the crocodile forceps? Possibly. It depends on what happens with this next bit. I can't actually remember this one. This is my patient, but obviously we see a lot, so I can't quite remember this one. Yeah, there you go. There's the forceps. So we're just going to grab that section just on the outside edge here. Let's see if we can get... Oh, it's only just caught the edge, which means it's not a fantastic grip. Let's see if it holds all the way down the ear canal. Yeah, oh, just broke off at the entrance here, guys. So let's go and grab this section, get a bit of a more of a grip on the outside edge. There we go. Out that comes. That pretty much, I think that came away in one piece, that one. But you can see it was quite a hard, dry piece of wax. Oh, there we are, a little bit at the entrance. Tiny little lift of skin there. Now, we'll get rid of this bit of the entrance. That tiny little lift of skin, to me, looks like it's still firmly attached to that canal wall. So I don't think that's going to come away easily. Let's have a little look. Let's pop the fine end on here. Let's see what happens with the fine end on. Yeah, you can see that piece of skin. That's not going anywhere. Just does not want to budge. So if you pull that, what's going to happen is, because the blood vessels are so close to the surface and that is so firmly attached, if you pull that bit of skin and lift it, it's just going to run along the ear canal wall and you're going to end up with a little bit of bleeding. So you're better off leaving that where it is. Let me do this. 2 centimeters, 3/4 inch. I'll do that quickly before the road was turned around, so I find it difficult to read the other way around. One more patient coming up, guys. Don't forget to stay tuned for this last one. Well done if you've got this far into the video. So we can see that to me looks wet and mushy. Wax there, quite light in color as well, that one. So let's see if we can get, yeah, that's the standard size ulnar tube on there. So let's grab all of this. Oh, is this going to be really kind and all come out in one piece? Oh, I think it might, you know. It's nearly there. Nearly. It's on its way, nice and slowly on this one, because it's staying together so well. I really don't want this to break apart, so if I can just do this really, really slowly and gently, it means we're more likely to get this plug staying together as one piece if we can. So there we go, out that plug comes. I think that was all in one piece. It's like, yeah, there we go, looking loads better. There's the eardrum looking nice and healthy. So this is what it looked like beforehand, and this is what it looks like afterwards. There we go, so 1 centimeter, just under 1/2 inch. Well, thanks guys for watching our video today. Don't forget to like, share, follow, heart, subscribe for me. Thank you very much. Any problems with your ears, wax related or hearing related, you can always come and see myself or the lovely Mr. Taylor Green. Check a link in the bio or the channel page for our website. You can contact us from there. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And me and Taylor will definitely see you for the next video. Bye everyone.